Yes guys, Max here, back again with a brand new video, and today we're going to be going over your football hot takes. I was channeling my inner Santi up there, a huge wrestling creator, and I'm a big fan of his, so I've basically stole his idea, but it's not a wrestling channel, so we're doing it on football. If you do go on to like this video, make sure you like it, because if you like it, you should like it, and don't forget to subscribe as well. Possession football is boring to watch. Who cares about 130 passes? I'd rather see someone rainbow flick someone or do 58 step overs. Football has become boring. Now I do totally get that. The whole point of football is to be entertained. You want to watch something, you want to watch a player entertain you as a fan. And nowadays you're seeing the teams like Man City and Arsenal, the juggernauts of the Premier League, pass it around and sort of slow the game down a little bit. Now I get that's how football has become, and it's obviously down to the managers who are involved as well. But I mean, City can do 100 passes around the opposition box and wait for an opening and then play it through on goal, score. Easy as that. It's easy for them, City. They retain the ball very well. They make a lot of passes in the opposition half, and it is boring to watch. I must admit. The whole purpose of football is to be entertained. You want to see a tricky winger beat a man, do a few step overs, cut inside, shoot on his right foot from the edge of the box, do some electrifying moves in front of his home fans. I always think back to Ronaldo and his night mercurials, dancing through defenders, and he used to get clattered by defenders because he was so good. And a lot of other teams didn't have loads of style of play. They just put 11 players on the pitch and let them do whatever they wanted. So it has become a little bit boring. I can agree with that. It's just how football is nowadays. I mean, City are the best team in the world and they do it. So Crystal Palace get Europe next season. Now, I think that's a very reactionary comment to put. Crystal Palace at the minute are probably the informed team of the league. They're winning so many games. They're not just winning, they're playing unbelievable football. And that's down to the new manager, Oliver Glasner. They're battering teams, they're passing it around, they're knocking it about. They've got star players like Eze and Elise. Jean-Philippe Mateta's banging in the goals. They're a very, very exciting team. But to say they're going to get Europe next season after, 6, 7 games you've seen of them at the end of this season, I think it's very reactionary. Don't get me wrong, Crystal Palace are a very good team at the minute. Can they carry this form into next season? Maybe. But I do think they're going to lose a few key players. Elise, Eze, Guéhi, they all might leave. Crystal Palace are going to have to replace those players with players who can do the same or similar roles to what Oliver Glasner wants. Europe might be a push, but they can certainly be a Bournemouth and battle for that top half, I think, next season. If they don't win the league, Arsenal have bottled the league and shouldn't be complaining about anything other than their own team dropping points and having a negative mindset in big games. For example, Manchester City away. Now, you've highlighted the City away game there, and I do agree. Arsenal came to Manchester City in a big clash of the Titans, second versus first, whatever it was. The two big dogs of the Premier League came head to head, and Arsenal sort of didn't really fancy it. They didn't create many chances, although City were poor on the day, but they're at home, they didn't need to do much. Arsenal camped in their own half, didn't create many chances and settled for a point, which at the time they probably would have took, but imagine if they got all 3 points there, the whole league table would be looking a lot different. So I do think Arsenal sort of shied away from that result. They could have definitely won it if they just went out and played how they were, but I think a lot of teams definitely change the sort of play style when it comes to playing Manchester City, don't they? Now, you said about bottling the league. This season, I'm not sure. Last season, definitely. I think they bottled it last season. They were top of the league for most 3/4 of the season, weren't they, until City pipped them at the end because Arsenal couldn't beat the likes of West Ham and Southampton towards the tail end of last season. This year's been a bit different. I mean, the top spot's been shared about, hasn't it, by Liverpool and City and Arsenal, so it's been more of a close, cagey affair. You can say they bottled the league this season, but I think they bottled it more last year, so I'm not going to say that. But Arsenal do need to win some silverware very soon, don't they? And who knows, they might win it this season. They are still in the title race going down to the final day. Chelsea will be deducted points at some point next season for FFP violations. Now, the amount of money Chelsea have spent is astronomical, let's be real. I mean, it was that one window last year in January. I think they signed Mudryk for close to 80 to 90 million and Enzo Fernandez for over 100 million in one January transfer window. You normally see big teams spending the money in summer, but in January to spend over 250 million was mental. Alongside all the other signings they've made across the summers, Moises Caicedo this season for over 100 million as well. Chelsea do spend a lot of money, especially under Todd Boehly. But they also do sell a lot of players, obviously not to the amount of what they're signing the players for, but they have sold quite a lot of the team they had last year this season. I mean, you're looking at loads of players going to the Saudi League and elsewhere. So they do sell a lot of players. I think the net spend isn't going to be great still, though, because of the amount of money they are spending to bring new ones in. I mean, they're spending a lot of money on youngsters who have not even made any first-team appearances yet. They're building for the future, Chelsea. I don't think they should be doing that right now. They need to get some players who are ready for the Premier League. I mean, they definitely could get hit with an FFP breach next season. We'll just have to see what happens there. Fabrizio Romano ruins football transfers. Announcing players are in talks with other clubs kills that feeling when Sky Sports announce a signing out of nowhere like they used to. Now, this one I do get. Don't get me wrong, I love Fabrizio Romano. I love when he announces United are in talks to sign a player, let alone when they actually sign them. But I remember back in the day, in my primary school days, year 5 maybe, Juan Mata joins Man United from Chelsea in January, and I was absolutely buzzing. Like, I could not tell you the feeling. It was mad because he came out of absolutely nowhere. He was a star player at Chelsea at the time, so to bring him into United, who was struggling that season, was a big move. I do miss that. I do miss that buzz. I mean, we knew Kylian Mbappe was leaving PSG about 3 months ago. Obviously, he's announced officially he is now, but Fabrizio Romano told us that ages ago. He's got his sources at the end of the day, and Fabrizio Romano is a very good journalist, so if he wants to put that information out there, he can. I still have no issue with Fabrizio Romano tweeting about signings, but I do miss that buzz. I do get you. Unai Emery will be the second best manager in the Prem after Pep when Jurgen Klopp leaves. I mean, yeah, it's a fair comment. They're 4th in the Premier League at the minute. They're battling for Champions League football, so it is a fair comment. The only manager that you're pushing aside there is Mikel Arteta, and I think if he wins the league title, there's no way Emery's the second best. But I do think he is in that conversation, obviously, with Arteta to be behind Pep in the pecking order, especially with Jurgen Klopp leaving this season. Arsenal fans should demand success, especially if they don't win the league this season. Apart from a COVID FA Cup with an Emery team he inherited, Arteta hasn't done enough. Now, this could come back to bite you. I mean, they might win the Premier League still. It's not out the realms of possibility. But yes, apart from that FA Cup, Arsenal haven't won anything. They get knocked out quite early in competitions as well. Last season, they definitely should have won the Premier League with how they played, but this season even more so. You've seen a fall off from Man City. Liverpool are up there, but not quite ready. Arsenal have been battling for the last 2 seasons now, and they've improved the squad with the signings of Declan Rice this season, so I expected them to win the Premier League. And Arteta needs to win something, or pressure will build. Of course, Arsenal fans have the right to demand more, especially next season if they don't win anything. Cody Gakpo regrets signing for Liverpool over Manchester United. He would have been a starter at United and his use as a squad player at Liverpool. Well, this is ironic because he's literally just scored 5 minutes ago against Aston Villa in the Premier League. Now, don't get me wrong, Cody Gakpo was a player I really wanted at Manchester United. He was linked to us for a very long time, and I believe we would have signed him in January. He was coming off the back of a great World Cup campaign with Netherlands as well, but instead he did join Liverpool. He's obviously used more as a squad player at Liverpool than he would have been at United. I mean, he would have been a starter at United, let's be real, or certainly battling it out for them. I mean, we've got a very mixed bag in the front of our pitch, so he probably would get in there. And at Liverpool, they've got an abundance of talent with Diaz, Nunez, Jota, Salah, so he's going to struggle obviously more to get into that team. I think he would have been brilliant for United, I still do. If you want to join United now, feel free, mate. But we don't really know. He's only 18 months into his Liverpool tenure at the minute, so it could completely change. I think he's been alright for Liverpool as well. He's not done anything out of the ordinary, but he's not been bad, has he? He's been decent. But I do think he could have been that little bit better at Manchester United, playing more regularly. Well, that's where we're going to wrap it up. Hopefully you did like this concept. I want to do more of these, so you need to let me know that you want to see more by liking the video. Anyway, that's where we'll leave it. See you next time.